Well, we're nearly there on this description of retro philosophy. Just want to move on now to an assumption and a question. Just a brief recap. We said in retro philosophy you start off with what you know, and we said you have to use numbers as well as words, and then we kind of factored in time. And what I want to start off with today is the assumption that there is an answer, and that answer can be expressed mathematically. And I don't think that's such a huge assumption. If somebody came from the planet Zog, that they'd have pretty much the same science and pretty much the same mathematics. It's certainly something the great scientists thought, Galileo, Descartes, Newton, that maths gave us an insight into the thinking of God, and that there is a mathematical description. And seeing as how everything else has panned out, expect it to be quite an elegant description as well. So that's the assumption that maths is universal, and that there is a bigger picture behind our existence, which we're slowly piecing together. Now, good old Descartes got quite a lot to answer for, really, because his was really the point at which science and philosophy and religion parted company. You know, he wanted to destroy Aristotle. I think he more like destroyed the authority of the church and allowed philosophy to escape from 2,000 years of oppression. But at the same time, he let out the cat out of the bag, that we were independent, I think independently of everything, gave voice to the scientific method, which escaped to the UK, and science went roaring ahead and didn't need any help from anybody for a couple of years. What we now want to do now is put all of those pieces back together again. And I think Descartes' famous "I think, therefore I am" is as good a place to start as anywhere. Because I exist looks at the question of existence, and the question that we're asking here is whether there's reason behind that existence, behind that order. A snowflake can form in minute detail just by following the laws of nature. But is there more to it than that? Is the assumption that 90% of people on this planet make that there's some higher order a correct one? As for the "I think," well, I suppose that's about our place in the world. We no longer, most of us don't think that we're created in God's image. We know that the earth isn't the centre of everything. Are we just a kind of clever animal? Well, Dawkins went off and proved that eyesight has evolved many times with DNA, and you'd have thought on the same reasoning that consciousness would as well. And the key question here is, what is the role of consciousness? Where's it going? How's it developing? And it's moving now from consciousness from changing at an evolutionary time scale to the sort of time scales we're seeing with computers, which double every two years. So the speed and the pace of the growth of consciousness should be astronomical from here on in. And I guess if you look at it, I think, therefore I am. Yeah? Consciousness implies existence. And the question that's behind the whole of retro philosophy is, can you flip that round? Does existence imply a prior consciousness? That's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to answer. Love it if you could help. And that's enough for now. Thanks very much.